So welcome everybody.
Morning.
So I would like to welcome you to the service pre-Drupa training. With the topic today is MMSupport and MMInspect. I know the invitation said MMSupport and MMStartup, but that's a bit of a typo. I hope you apologize for that. So first of all, I'm going to do an introduction into the excuse me, into the topic of the whole Drupa exhibition. And then there will be a part on MMSupport. Then there will be a part on MMInspect, and then we're going to have a bit of a wrap up at the end. If you have any questions in between, then I would ask you to add this to the chat. So we can, then by the end of the subject, we can go through the questions quickly and answer them. Just 1 second. So, with regard to the training today, the session will be recorded. So after, excuse me, after all the training sessions, we will provide you with a copy of the recording. So if you want to pass this on to anybody, then please do so. While we have the training, or while during the presentation, I would like to ask you to turn off your microphones. And as I said, please send your questions via the chat. By the end of each module, we can go through them quickly if there are any questions with regards to that. Any questions up front? Any comments? The invitation is 2 hours. This is the first time we do these 2 modules. I don't expect it's going to take the 2 hours, but this is the time allocated. If there's a lot of questions, then obviously we have plenty of time to answer them as well. So then let's start. As I said, we're going to have the services at Drupa. Just a quick outlook how we want to present service at the exhibition. I'm talking a little bit about the Service Navigator, which is the I would say that the framework of how we want to present our MMServices products at Drupa as well. I think it's a fantastic overview where you can bring customers and show them what kind of products we have. You can pick out some bits and pieces to illustrate to customers if they have interest in specific topics. Then we're going to MMSupport, then a short session on MMInspect, and then we're gonna have to wrap up. So Drupa 2012, I don't know, probably a lot of you remember as well, that was the first big presentation of MMServices we had at the exhibition. I think what caused a bit of lifting eyebrows was that we had a green machine there, where we actually showed customers that we are not just about selling new equipment, but obviously service business is also a lot to look after the older equipment we have out there, legacy machines that we have out there, and that we have services and service products, not just for the latest equipment we put into the market, but also a lot of products that we could offer for the vast range of equipment that was already out there. I think a lot of competitors were looking at that with a little bit of envy, because usually or normally exhibitions are, you're talking a lot more about the new stuff than the old one. So that was quite interesting to hear the feedback, not just from partner companies, but also from competitors, how they viewed that. So that was 2012. Then we had a big exhibition at Drupa 2016. Again, a lot of new equipment out there. We had the presentation of Connex up there at the first level balcony. I think that was very, very interesting for all the people that were taking part there. It was really an interesting concept that you were able to stand up on that balcony, look over the equipment that was out there, and very well received as far as I understood when I was there. We also presented our service products. We had a special area where we had all the different service products that we presented. So that was on these screens, the various products, the exhibits that we had there. And obviously one of the showstopper, we could say, was definitely the smart glasses we had there. Again, with smart glasses at the time in 2016, that was something that not a lot of companies showed. So it was really something to draw customers into that MMServices area to make sure we had a showstopper to draw them in and to show them some other aspects on MMServices as well. Then our service journey, which we have updated, which we're going to show at Drupa this year as well. It's really should illustrate to customers that service for us has not just started in 2024. This has been a process over the last 15 to 20 years that we have started really to incorporate services into our product portfolio. So it started 2010 at IPEX, where the first time we actually introduced this new concept of MMServices. As I said, 2012 we had an exhibition. 2016, unfortunately 2020 was cancelled, and now with 2024. There's various stages of development. I think it's interesting if you have the opportunity just to look at that with a customer, just to see how things have progressed over the last 10 to 15 years. The motto or the overall arching statement that we have is first-class services for the graphics arts industry that we want to provide. Our focus is on your success. We help you to maintain your productivity over the long term, which is obviously our vision and promise of MMServices. I think it's very important that the customer here is in the center. I think everything we do, whether it's new equipment, whether it's service products, circumnavigate around the customers, his needs, and his equipment that he purchased from us. Because the customer's success is our success. So that's pretty much what this is about. Service excellence, obviously, again, also a journey that we have started many years ago. For us, it was always clear that developing product is not the end of the journey. You need to make sure that not just your customers understand what the promise and the vision is behind that, but also your internal organization. So we have invested quite a lot into how to bring that message, how to bring that training, how to bring these products out to our market organizations, to our agents as well, to make sure that everybody in the company understands the concept. So that's the basic of this service excellence training is obviously to bring the service vision, the products out to the market organization, but also to make people understand what it's actually important to deliver first-class service to our customers. So we came up with the 4 main points there. satisfied customers, strong relationship, people that understand the business they're talking about, and people or the organization understands it also has to be a commercial aspect that is important into that. Service cannot just be a piggyback on a new machine sale. It has to stand on its own two legs. So the value of that has to be appreciated. The second leg of that training we have started last year is now bringing the focus more on the cooperation between service and sales. So what we call the hybrid service and sales excellence training. A lot of organizations have already taken part in that training. Again, it's not just the products that we bring out, it's what is required to successfully sell and promote these products in front of the customer. And what is important that we successfully deliver these products. And this is quite a challenge, looking at the diverse structure of our organization with different business units, with different market organizations. Sometimes there are agencies involved. So really to make sure that everybody understands what the key aspects are, that's the focus of this hybrid service and sales excellence training we have started and continue to do so this year. Drupa layout, just quickly, what we're going to show. We obviously have the equipment here on the main floor. We have then various meeting rooms. There's a team room. We have a meeting point where we take customers in, and we have here the MMServices area. The MMServices area, the main, the way it's designed, it's actually to bring customers in here, talk about the product portfolio, and then you have the opportunity to go through each section of the MMServices product portfolio, starting with startup and improve, where we had the training has been conducted already. Then you go over to support and inspect, which I'm going to show you how we want to design that screen and the exhibits. Then we're talking MM parts, we're talking MM up to date, and then finally we're talking MS select. That is a bit the overarching product that brings everything together. So this is the concept. So you have this C-shape, where you can actually bring customers around, show him the overall service portfolio, or just show him various aspects that he's interested in. Then the Service Navigator, again, that's the way we're going to show it. It's a bit updated from the design we had before. The logos have been updated a bit. We have incorporated our lifecycle management as well. Again, bringing both aspects together, the products as well as the lifecycle management, to show customers that it's not just the product portfolio that is important to keep an eye on, but also where the machine is, where the products are that the customer has with regards to the lifecycle management. So overarching, again, the vision, our key focus, your success, and then starting here with startup. When we obviously start up the machines or when we relocate machines, then typical products that start at the beginning with training, parts, important, the support in case something happens, select, which incorporates contracts, inspect, obviously with the inspections, up to date when it goes to upgrades and updates. Here a second phase possibly of upgrades depending on the investment cycle the customer has in mind. He might go through various of these up-to-date cycles, And then startup again represents a new beginning or an end, could be both. So starting basically a new installation project, or maybe relocating the existing machine and putting it up at a different location or a different customer. Okay, so that's a bit generic. What's going to happen at Drupa, what's the layout is, what the stand is, what the philosophy is behind. So I would let me check. Are there any questions to that, just to this introduction? Anything needs further clarification? Okay. From service, there will be presentation on site during the whole exhibition. It's going to be predominantly people from service from the factories, myself, Steffen Stamm, Mike Klöpfe, Nico Schwarze, Wolfgang Kurz. I think there will always be somebody from service in that area in case there are specific questions from customers with regards to certain products. However, the main focus for us is enabling you, our representatives from the market, from the business units, that you can guide a customer through this portfolio yourself. That's our key aspects, and I'll talk a little bit about the various things that we can show you there. So that's this. So support. Again, what keeps the customer awake when he talks about support? Obviously, how fast is the machine up and running again? If a breakdown comes up, because downtime has a massive impact on his productivity, on his commitments towards customers. So he's definitely going to think, can I still fulfill my obligations? Or he will ask, how can I still make sure that I can fulfill my obligations despite the fact that the machine is not producing? Questions possibly ask, does he need to send stuff out? How quickly can he get an engineer from us or from somebody else? Obviously, also important is commercial aspect. How much is it going to cost? And this does not just include the cost to get an engineer in from Muller Martini. This also includes the actually opportunity costs, not producing, maybe sending stuff out. So he has to pay somebody else to produce a job that he actually quoted for at short notice, which normally means that you can't optimize the cost. You just have to take possibly the offer that is given to you by somebody else because you're squeezing into an already existing schedule. So this is definitely the stuff that our customers are worried about when we talk about MMSupport. On our side, and that's we're going to give you that on a cheat sheet as well. What can we offer to answer these questions? Worldwide, we have more than 50 local and factory support specialists. These are the guys in the office answering questions on the phone, remotely, if there are problems with a machine. Our philosophy has always been, we want to offer high quality technical support. So under ideal circumstances, we don't really have to send people out and fix the problem. If we can, we want to fix it over the phone because that's the fastest and most efficient way to deal with an issue at the customer side. So this is clearly one of the reasons why we still have a very large and very big group of people that are specialized in providing that kind of factory support or local support to our customers. However, if things can't be fixed over the phone, then we have around 220 service technicians worldwide, counting all our market organizations, as well as the factory service technicians that we have. So this is still around 220 worldwide that we can send out and really help customers on site if things go wrong. Just to give you an idea, we're dealing with around 12,000 support tickets a year. That's what we track in our Business One system. So in reality, it's probably a little bit more because we've just gone live with MMUS, and some of the market organizations have not gone live yet. So possibly we could argue that this figure is probably closer to 13 or 14,000 tickets, but this is what we're counting. This is what we have. We continue to invest in that aspect. Now, 30 million Swiss francs a year is obviously, by and large, the biggest proportion of that is salary, wages, and costs sending people out. So the 30 million is the 220 plus the 50 plus some management to basically sustain a complete organization when it comes to support. The other thing is, and I'll show you a quick picture, is obviously we have intensified ongoing recruitment because we are aware that if we want to be a long-term partner of our customers, we have to have the manpower also in the long term to maintain that support structure. And for that, we need to bring new people into the service organization that can actually go out and support our customers in the long run. So all this together actually results in that if we go out or if we provide technical support, we only get around 1% to 2% of negative feedback from customers when we do that. So by and large, the biggest proportion of cases is dealt with successfully. So this is exactly what we want. We want our service and our support structure to be a USP when it comes to the next new investment project of a customer, that he believes that he has not just bought the right equipment, but also he has the right partner when it comes also to service his machine. Quick summary of the key aspects I'm going to talk in this MMSupport session. We're talking quickly about applications. So what applications do we use to enable our engineers to go out and hopefully most of the time just concentrate on the job they have to do and use applications to make that job easier. I'll quickly talk about the remote portal that we have. I'm talking about Empower, e-call and call statistics that is now available for our customers. And I'm talking about smart glasses, where we are with this since 2016. Processes, how we make sure that we can deliver the services, what processes we have in place, what products we have in place that we can offer to our customers. And we also want to talk about what is the next thing in service or in support. And the one thing we want to talk about also at the exhibition is how we want to use artificial intelligence to improve the quality of the service that we provide to our customers. Sorry. When it comes to applications, our service technicians worldwide use a standardized portfolio of applications. Let me just explain the three main applications they use. We have Business One for all the call tracking. So if a customer wants to know, okay, what happened in the last 2 to 3 years with regards to my machine, we have the data we have and we can make available is in Business One. Every single service interaction ought to be recorded as a service call. We know who logged it. We know what the issue is. We know what the root cause was when it comes to the solution. And we know how quickly we were able to resolve this. The second application is the planning board. The planning board, again, all these applications are linked together via cloud infrastructure. So if you log a call, you can then basically send it to the planner, and from the planner you can send it to the service technician, and the information via cloud is transferred from one application to the other one. So here we have the planning board, all the jobs where engineers go out, the planning happens in this planning board. We call it the workforce management system. Once the planning has been completed, the job can be released to a service technician or multiple service technicians. And once that is done, the job appears on the service technician's handheld device. This is normally an iOS device that we're using. We're also using some devices with Android operating systems, but by and large it's iOS. So the service technician then sees call, he sees the customer, he sees what the subject is of that service case. He can basically drill into the information. He sees what has been recorded already. He can search for similar business cases. That's all possible on his handheld device. Yeah, this here is the workforce management, as I already said, integrated into Business One. We also have skills management included here. So we have a good overview where we have technicians with certain skills. In order to share resources, that can be quite helpful sometimes. But also when we look at planning for training requirements worldwide, this is also an interesting aspect. If you know where you have people with certain skills, where you have the projects, you can then drill conclusions whether you need some more people that have certain skills in order to be able to fulfill all the requirements that you have when you want to put new equipment into a market. That's the planning tool. And last but not least, it's the field service management application that is actually used by our service technicians. Again, it's integrated into Business One. So when they book their hours back into the system, this is automatically then transferred back to Business One for invoicing, which obviously helps with the efficiency. They have access to job information. So every single service job in that market organization is accessible to the service technicians. So you can search for different jobs or similar jobs where similar machines have been used. Recording of times and expenses happens here. What we also have is what we call predefined workflow steps. So the service technician is guided through a series of steps so he can successfully conclude the service call at the end. We have, as I already said, access to worldwide call history, and we have access to the call history of certain business partners if he wants to search for similar cases on that machine that have happened before. He has that information on the FSM. Access to the remote portal, again, a very important aspect that we have and that we use on a day-to-day basis is actually our web diagnostics, where we can access our machine remotely. This is for all the machines that have remote capability, where we have that online connection to provide the access. We can actually access the machine. We can actually access the control system of the machine in order to obviously see a lot more what causes problems on the machine, and as a result, obviously in reduced downtime. Again, this is just one example of what we can see now or today in the remote application. We can drill down to all the IOs that are actually in the individual control systems that are somewhere placed in the machine. So you see whether they have been activated, whether they have not been activated. Again, that allows you to draw conclusions about whether an IO has been working, whether a valve has been switching, whether a sensor has actually reported some signal back, instead of asking the service technicians. I think this here is a really, really great asset, sometimes underestimated, because in a lot of cases, customers are not able to give you high quality information back on the state of the machine. So only relying on what has been communicated back to you gives you only a very, very narrow or limited picture of what's happening on the machine. But here, with the web diagnostics, you can actually get that information yourself. And I think that's a far better way to improve the quality of the analysis that you can do. Empower, also Empower in support. So all customers that have an Empower login, they have access to the MMSupport module. On the MMSupport module, you can up here, you can choose your machine. If you only have one, obviously that's a predefined set. But if you have multiple machines, then you can select your machine. Based on that selection, the content of that web page will change. So what can you see here? One is, does the machine have a valid remote line agreement? You can see the expiry date of that agreement. You see here, when you drill into that magnifying glass, you see when the contract started, when it ended, whether eCall is active. You see the product code that is actually on the commercial document when we sell the contract. And you see, based on the information of the service agreement, you see the support coverage for that specific agreement that you have in place. And for Drupa, we're going to do a further extension of the functionality. We incorporate a QR code. This QR code has multiple informations embedded. So if you scan as a customer, if you scan that barcode, you will get straight onto that page. So in this barcode, in this QR code, it's the information, what machine. So it's the Primera Pro, and it is the support website. So if the customer, in this case here, the print finishing center, would scan that barcode, it would get straight to that site and could straight access the eCall button. So what could be done, and what we're recommending in future, is that this QR code is actually printed out and also stuck next to the machine. And that should be part of the installation process when you install the machine, when you commission the machine, that you also place this barcode onto the machine, so the customer can just walk past, scan it with his mobile device, and then press the eCall button. At Drupa, we will also place these QR codes next to the machines, so customers can see what that functionality looks like and how it's used. So as I said, they can see, they go support, the support module, the QR code we talked about, the contact numbers we talked about. These are of your local market organization, the contact numbers and the coverage time. What you can also see down here is the call history. So we have two areas in MMSupport. One is all the active calls, the ones that have not been closed, and down at the bottom we have the call history. These are all the calls that have been closed up to 12 months. We display them also in Empower. So if a customer wants to see what happened in the last 12 months, he can go into that website and he gets a full picture of all the activities that have happened with his machine. Here a bit more on eCall, as I said, a feature that we have introduced last year. We have currently it's available in Germany and all of Western Europe. We are in the process of introducing that to North America as well. So the plan for me is that we have that also by and large ready when for Drupa, also in North America, but it's already introduced in Western Europe and Germany, where customers can actually use that eCall. Again, our experience is there's not a huge and large number of customers that use the eCall at the moment. However, for me, it's a very, very convenient way to get in touch with us. So having that QR code, again, will make it very, very easy for customers to access the eCall. And I think here convenience is key. If he needs to click on 4 or 5 icons and 4 or 5 sub menus, then customers will pick up the phone and ring. So the goal with this QR code is really when we stick it next to the machine, the customer can just scan it with his camera, press on the eCall button, and in our system, a call for that customer is logged, and we ring him back within half an hour. That's our goal that we have behind. And if we can achieve that, I think the amount of customers that will use that on a regular basis will increase. Yes, so this is on eCall. This is, as I said, on the Drupa machines, we will have one of these QR codes. So customers can just scan that and see what happens, how the website looks like, how the eCall works. Smart glasses. We had an introduction in 2016 when we showed a specific type of smart glasses. We have further developed this as a tool. So we are using smart glasses still. It's now a Google Glass that we have in use. We use smart glasses at the moment for 2 things. We use them to increase the support when we do complex installation projects. So we have used smart glasses in projects such as Gainhow, which is a big Sigma line, was far away, obviously in Taiwan. Elanders, again, a Sigma project in Germany, again, where complex digital project, where we wanted to make sure that our engineers have the maximum amount of support that we can provide to them. The smart glasses will be on the stand. We have a box that we can show, which got the glasses in there, which got everything in there. So, but we need to be clear. This is to support our internal organization in complex installation projects, and we have used smart glasses when we did online training for our organizations. We have used smart glasses in training for sewing machines, for Asia Pacific. Again, the distance, and the setup of the training program allowed for specific sections of the training to be conducted with these smart glasses. So again, very tailored approach to certain cases where we clearly see the benefits on using smart glasses, where you have both hands free, instead of using our assistant AR application that we have for TeamViewer, that can also be used obviously with a smartphone. Organization processes. So this is again, just to remind everybody, this is our service organization here in Zofingen. So you see the technical support that we have in place here in Zofingen. We have the field service technicians. We have obviously the link to our project managers in the factory, and we have our print finishing center that also utilizes certain resources from our field service team. What I wanted to elaborate a bit is the blue ones. This shows all the technicians that we have managed to recruit in the last 2 to 2.5 years. So we have managed to add some new people in saddle stitching and soft cover with Reto Felix, a person that used to work for us and has returned. He's now supporting our team in soft cover and saddle stitching. We had managed to bring new people into the field service team for saddle stitching, which is Kevin Sarigöl. We have brought in some new people in the digital area, which is Felix Bühlmann and Alejandro Baridon, with 2 extra people in digital. And we have just recently managed to get a new service technician on board that should assist with the sewing machines and hopefully support the team of Mike Norlander and Jürgen Ulein. So you can see we are in the last 2 years continuously added some new people into the organization, and this is also a bit the slogan of they are the future. We are aware that we need to invest in the future to make sure we have a sustainable business also in service. Service is a people's business, and we have to have the people that can actually support that. This is the organization from Raden. So again, you have the team that looks after the service technicians. You have the Nico Schwarze that looks after the technical support specialists. Again, with the specialists here, with the support team that is looking after the product portfolio from the equipment in Raden. Call handling process, I think most of you guys are very familiar with that. So we have in only a couple of an external calls most of the time. This is internal in your organization, where you welcome your customers when they have inquiries about technical support or spare parts. You log the calls. Depending on the agreement, it's actually just daytime or it's 24/7. Then we have first level support that is provided by the local market organizations or by our agents. Probably internally you have an escalation that you can send that out to your service technicians. And then if that is not sufficient in order to support the customer, then you have the ability to escalate into the business units. Again, happens internal in system. There's an escalation procedures for that. So we can benefit from whatever your service technicians obviously have already provided to the customer, the advice he has provided, possibly some possible root causes they already provided to the customer. Service level 3 is then our R&D department that again can be drawn in if required to support in case of a service case. This is just how the whole process works in Business One with the on-site support. The call goes to the service office, escalation, to the business unit, and then the business unit can actually support the customers direct, or we can support you as a market organization. Both is possible. It just shows that we are a worldwide operating organization with multi-level service support structure that can be adjusted to whatever the customer needs. Products. Again, the product portfolio hasn't really changed since we introduced that in 2012. So for customers that do not have remote capability, we have two products to provide them with technical support, which is actually our standard helpline, which provides technical support during daytime. And we have the Helpline Plus, which is the 24/7 version. And we have Remote Line and Remote Line Plus, which is the equivalent product just for the machines that have remote capability. We also use technology categories. Depending on the machine the agreement is for, we are using different technology categories that basically are used to differentiate between different lines based on complexity as well. So a T1 machine typically is an entry-level machine. T2 is a mid-range machine, saddle stitching, perfect binding. And T3, you're really talking about high-end saddle stitching, perfect binding, digital equipment, including workflow systems, where we have a high degree of automation, a high degree of integration, and a high degree of complexity. And that's the reason why we're separating here into the three technology groups. Just a quick one on scalability of MMSupport products. The customer today has, by and large, three levels at his disposal. One is he has no agreement at all. So customers, for whatever reason, decides we are not signing up to any MMSupport agreement for the line we have in place. Could be a decision based on age, based on usability, whatever. Maybe he has the skills in-house, so he doesn't need this kind of basic support infrastructure. Again, we do provide service support. He gets a certain basic access to Empower. On top of that, the next level is that he takes out a remote line or helpline daytime agreement. So he gets priority support with internal guideline response time of an hour, Monday to Friday during business hours, where the capability is there, access to advanced remote, which obviously allows for computer-aided analysis. He gets extended Empower access, where he gets access to call records, reporting tools, etc. Again, subject to licenses. When we talk about reporting tools, then we obviously know that these are the Connex Info products. Access to eCall, which is linked to having an existing remote line agreement. And with 24/7, which is then a further level up, you obviously get the support, the dedicated support 24/7, 7 days a week, for customers that really need this extra level of support because they're running 3 shifts, Saturday and Sunday. With 24/7 support system, you also get access to spare parts ordering out of hours. So there's no initial fee to access our spare parts out of hours hotline. Obviously, courier costs are not included in that agreement, but the initial call to our 24/7 spare parts hotline is incorporated into that agreement. Again, our terms and conditions say for business critical cases only. So we don't appreciate to have calls at 2 o'clock in the morning where somebody asks for, I would say, to replenish his stock he has in one of the fulfillment centers. So we really need to make sure that we're bringing people into Zofingen at 2 o'clock in the morning only for business critical cases. On top of that is the on-site support. Again, the first slide already indicated, obviously, the capabilities our service technicians have. We have 220 skilled technicians worldwide, and they have access to the best-in-class diagnostic tools that we have available, similar to when you ring our technical support hotline. The same tools they can use as well. So the last aspect I would like to talk about is artificial intelligence, or basically the topic about innovation. What is the next thing in service to improve the quality and the efficiency of how we provide service to our customers? So one of the things we are looking at, beside all the other technology aspects you've already seen, is how we could utilize artificial intelligence. So we are currently working with a company on a project that helps us to establish whether we could use artificial intelligence for root cause analysis. So what the system does is we are using the description that is given by the customer and additional information put in by our technical support specialists. And the artificial intelligence is then looking at previous records, data we have stored in documentation, emails, etc., and makes predictions about possible root causes that could cause the problem at the customer. What the system does is it allows, based on this, not just to give you hints, but the artificial intelligence draws conclusions on similarities. It doesn't need to be a clear 100% match, but the artificial intelligence learns about not just what you have in the system, but also on further information that you're putting in. So the system learns and becomes smarter with every single case you do. It basically learns from the root causes that you're putting in at the end of each case, because it draws conclusions and says, if I get a similar case, I can bring that up and display this to the service technician. So it allows to ask, for example, and that's what we would like to show at the exhibition. You can ask a question, a specific question, and it will answer based on past cases and R&D information that is in there. So we will have 10 to 15 cases with questions in German and English that you can ask the system and see what the outcome is on the screen. So for the Vareo, we currently have a 70 to 75% match on a good answer, which is quite substantial. However, you need to make sure that the system has enough information to actually allow to do that. So we will probably concentrate at Drupa just on specific machines. Definitely the Vareo, definitely a machine from Raden as well. So for these two machines, we will have some specific questions where you can actually live ask the system, okay, what is, we have here, for example, an internal fault, MA184, what could be the root cause, and the system will give you an explanation and the relevant document that is linked to this fault message. And similar cases in the system that you can click on and get some further information on that. Again, we are at an early stage here. This is not something that definitely not the customer can buy. We are using this at the very limited scale to improve the quality of the service that we're providing. However, looking at the rate of development in that area, I think artificial intelligence will transform the way we do service in future. The question is when. However, if you're not an early adapter, if you're not there at a certain early stage, you will probably miss the train in a way when this becomes extremely useful. This application is not just used by or tested by us. We have I know the same application is used also by, for example, Rolls-Royce, the engine manufacturer for aircrafts. So there is a huge amount of development in that area. And I think as Muller Martini, we want to show that we are at the cutting edge of this technology as well, to see whether we can improve the service that we provide to our customers. And we will have a live demo where customers can ask some questions there and hopefully get some good answers out. At Drupa, as I said, we have the monitor, which we're going to have a presentation on there that by and large shows the main features of MMSupport. We're going to have a cheat sheet for MMSupport that we're going to give up to all the salespeople. There's going to be a laptop on there where you're going to have the AI, where you have the remote application, where we can definitely show the customer that. We're going to have the smart glasses on there that we use to support our internal service team. And we're going to have the Drupa Walk, which is a summary of what MMSupport is about. Let me just quickly elaborate on the text that we actually want you to follow or transfer to the customer while you're talking about MMSupport. So under MMSupport, it's all about uptime. So in order to achieve this, we offer high degree of efficiency. It starts with our Empower platform and the eCall button. This is the fastest way to connect to our experts. As soon as your phone or eCall is received, our service experts will begin corrective action. Today, we solve over 90% of the challenges remotely. Our experts have access to advanced remote capability that allows for computer-aided analysis of all relevant parameters and log files. Scope of service is subject to connectivity. Optimum preparation of planned on-site interventions, e.g. on-site support, spares identification, etc. Cybersecurity, certified VPN connections to help manage the cybersecurity challenge. We are also applying technology wherever possible. Building on the last innovation, the AR glasses that provide their value during the COVID lockdowns, where we were able to train and support our colleagues and customers around the world. We see constant improvements as a necessity, so we are now also using KI or AI technology to access historical data to assist our technical support specialists with root cause analysis to get you back up and running faster. This technology allows getting from recorded symptoms to root cause and more accurate part predictions. It is tapping the knowledge from documents and past service cases and turns this data into sharper insight predictions. Despite all the technological advances, support is a people business. Like in your business, we need to ensure sufficient resources on the ground, so we have continued to invest heavily in our MMSupport team to to the extent of 30 million Swiss francs a year. We can offer different MMSupport programs such as technological remote support day and night, or where required, boots on the ground with our on-site support. Please note that while our technicians might be the only one on site, they are never alone. Behind them is an extensive second-level support operation with specialized MMSupport technology and MMSupport processes. So this is the Drupa walk with, in a, I would say 2 to 3 minute text that you could convey the major aspects of MMSupport to your customers. And obviously, once you have done this 2-3 times, I think it's you know the way you can convey that message in a way that feels comfortable to you. This is just a guideline of the content that we want to convey to our customers. Okay, so now before I start with MMInspect, do we have any questions?
Reto, this is PR here from Mullamartin in India.
Yeah.
You mentioned about this root cause analysis by artificial intelligence.
Yep.
Did you say that it is currently available only for select few machines like Vario and?
No, it is available for. It would be available for every machine. The results really depend on that you have really good data in your system. So what we see at the moment, the results we're getting are good for only a small number of machines, but we are really at the early stages. I think this whole topic on artificial intelligence should show the customer more what are the advances of using Mullamartini as a company, because we are constantly investing in the latest technology to make sure that our service that we provide is at the cutting edge of what we can do. So this is at the moment with all this artificial intelligence, this is more a proof of concept that we have. We use that at the very small scale, but it's something that we believe in a couple of years' time will transform the way we can provide technical support to our customers.
And for the demonstration of this at Drupa, there are only select few questions which are already predetermined, which the customers can ask, right?
Yes, I think what we're definitely going to do is we're going to do 10 to 15 questions that you could ask and get a really good result. Of course, you can ask a different question, but maybe the answer is then not so great. So we're definitely going to provide you with a set of 10 to 15 questions for the 1 or 2 machines we show at Drupa, and if you put them in, you're going to get a great result.
If we already know some questions are going to come from customers, can we pre-inform you in advance so that you can program it in it so that it looks really authentic?
Let's see. I can definitely provide you the set of questions up front. Then let's see whether there's anything else that you would like. So if I think we have a limited ability to maybe do some customer cases, but I wouldn't like to do this on a big scale because it just would go a lot further than what we attempted with this. Our plan is really to show them artificial intelligence is more and more also used in service. At the very small scale, we use that now as well here. We are doing a proof of concept, but it's not a lot more. Don't convey to the customer that we use that on a day-to-day basis and it helps us to resolve a great deal of questions. It's really at the small scale at the moment, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot. I understand. Still early stage now. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, it's early stage.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, then let me just start the inspect. Yes, here I need to quit, and then I have inspect. So obviously the same. We're going to record this session from that point of view. No changes. Again, I'm not talking about MMServices at Drupa because we had that. So I'm just focusing on MMInspect, and then we're going to do the wrap-up session as well. Yeah. So MMInspect, obviously slightly different questions when it comes to inspections. The customer keeps awake during night. In that aspect, what is definitely something that we believe a lot of customers are today worried about is how can they improve the reliability of the machines? How can they improve the quality of the products that are coming off the machine? Definitely if they have reliability or quality issues. How can they improve the performance of a machine in case they have performance related issues? Or quite simple, what is actually the state of my machine? Now, this can be his machine, or that could be a machine that he would like to purchase. There's a lot of equipment out there and a lot of customers that today decide to go for used equipment instead of buying brand new stuff. So having a clear picture of whether your machine you're buying, you open a big cupboard with a lot of skeletons inside, or you can be confident that you are buying a machine that has a good state and very quickly can produce the performance and quality of products that you actually would expect from that. Another aspect is always, do we have obsolescence risks in the machine? Is there anything that I need to worry about if I want to use that machine for another 5, 6, 7 years? And all these questions, if the customer needs to have good answers to them, I think one of the clear answers to that is carrying out an inspection. So what we have is definitely on our side, when it comes to these, we have 50 plus service technicians worldwide that are trained to conduct inspections. We have a vast range of different checklists. Overall, if you add them all together, we're talking over 400 different machine types. And what I have shown here is we use the same tool for 3 different applications. Our inspections, we have what we call preventative maintenance checklists, where the main aspect is actually maintenance. And then we have our startup checklists, which you do when the machine is actually installed and commissioned. At the end of the commissioning, we have what we call a startup checklist, where the technician goes through, checks that he has done all the bits that he needs to do to make sure that the customer gets the best possible setup of his machine before he goes into production. So you see here, obviously still a lot more on inspections, but we are slowly building up also a very good portfolio of maintenance checklists and startup checklists that all of the technicians can use that are trained on the tool. And all that together basically results in that we are completing in the area of 200 inspections per year. I still believe this is a tool sometimes underrated what the value it can bring to the customer. but for me, still a fantastic tool, not just to improve certain aspects on the machine, but also when it comes to managing risk. So the customer knows whether he has some hidden risk on his machine or on a machine he wants to buy before he actually does it. Again, the aspects, so the key aspects we're going to talk in this training session is the actual application, inspection tool, and Empower. We're talking about the processes. So when is the perfect time to do the inspection? What the inspection is about? The products we have in our portfolio, and then what is new when it comes to inspections or the inspection tool. So all these aspects are covered in the presentation. So application, to keep the downtime obviously to a minimum, all our engineers, when they do inspections, use the inspection tool. The inspection tool offers them a clearly defined set of checkpoints. It guides our experts through the whole inspection process. So again, for the customer, it's not that every single technician does something else when he comes on site. We have a clear defined set of checkpoints that they have to go through. Another advantage is the tool we use is also available offline. So in case you don't have coverage at the custom site, this doesn't matter. The inspection tool can still be used. It also helps the service technician or the people in the office to create the reports. We're going to look at some of the examples. We're going to have some of the examples on the stand as well. So a standardized inspection, preventative maintenance, or startup report that is automatically generated when all the questions and all the information are put into the system. Actually, by clicking a button, you can create a report out of that. So great assets to use that application. Again, what is, in our opinion, the right time to do an inspection? There's multiple, as I said, business cases where we recommend, and I think we really need to stress this to the customers as well, where we recommend to carry out an inspection. One is our end of warranty inspection, where we usually have that incorporated into the machine deal, that by the end of the warranty period, we are carrying out an inspection for the customer to make sure there are no hidden skeletons in the cupboard once the machine comes out of the warranty. What is always underestimated, in my opinion, in a very important business case, is after a significant breakdown. I do appreciate that a lot of customers, obviously their main focus is to get that machine back up and running, catch up on work, catch up on things they missed because the machine has maybe been down for a significant amount of time. However, worst case scenario you really want to avoid is that you have a significant breakdown again. So looking back, analyzing why this happened, in my opinion, is an absolute key aspect of any significant breakdown where you had some really significant downtime on a machine. So again, after a customer had a massive breakdown, maybe not the day after, but a certain amount of time afterwards, I think we should really talk to customers to see what caused the issue in the first place, how could we prevent that? And I think for me, an inspection is a fantastic starting point for that. Before peak season, always something that a lot of customers do. Before they go into a busy period, that they're actually carrying out some inspections. Again, shows them, okay, is there anything we need to focus on before we run the machine into the busy season? which is obviously one aspect that customers then do on an annual basis, just before they go and enter the peak season. It's normally can be scheduled also at their end a lot better. So they have maybe a week or 2 week window where they can not just do the inspection, but then also carry out the repairs that are identified as part of the inspection to make sure they have the best possible setup then to go into their peak season where they want to avoid breakdowns at any cost, because that's normally where they can the least afford for the machine to be down. The next aspect is machines 5 to 10 years. This is generally our sweet spot. Machines that are not ancient, 20, 25 years old, but machines almost at the peak of their performance. They're probably the machines the customer relies the most on in the building. So clearly making sure he understands what the state is of that machine that really needs to deliver the goods, and to see whether he has any obsolescence risks associated with that machine. Because getting to the age of 5 to 10 years, all of a sudden, definitely on electronic components, you start to see certain obsolescence risk appear that the customer needs to be aware of. Can he just ignore it? Does he need to address it? Do we have anything that he can do to address that? Or before the customer wants to relocate the machine, or if he buys second-hand equipment, to get from the manufacturer a clear assessment what the state is of that machine. Again, relocating is for me an opportunity where the machine is down. Before you take the thing apart, making sure we get a good overview. By the way, we do that when we buy machines back here in Switzerland. We always carry out pre-relocation inspections. Again, also from our point of view, to make sure we understand what the state is, because obviously the machine that had been running by the customer for the last 10 to 15 years. So we are not psychic, so we need to have a good understanding of whether we buy a machine that needs a lot of work before we pass it on to somebody else. Products, there's various broad range. Typically checkup service, which is the inspection product that can be incorporated into the new machine sale. So basically after the end of the warranty period, where we come in and do a checkup service for the customer before the machine goes out of warranty. Again, it's an opportunity for us to go through the machine, to identify weaknesses, but also an opportunity to point out shortcomings on maintenance, on repairs. Again, an opportunity then to go in and recommend to the customer that he probably would be better off to use Muller Martini in certain aspects to help him with some of the stuff he can't do himself. Pit stop maintenance service, which goes into the preventive maintenance, and flexo service, where we talk fixed amount of days that are used to carry out preventative maintenance tasks or any other tasks that he needs to do to improve or maintain the performance of his equipment. Again, for all these products, the MMInspect application can be used to either help with the maintenance service tasks or with the inspection tasks. Product inspection, quickly. Obviously, the main aspect we have started with the inspection tool is the inspection, a one-off analysis of the state of the machine. Again, also here we have different products that we have. One is the comprehensive equipment inspections, where we go through a full range of inspection points of all the various parts of equipment. The customer then gets a detailed assessment of the product line back. Yes. When it comes to, obviously, that's getting a full assessment, allowing him to improve output and net performance and possibly quality of the machine. This is, as you've seen, available for most Muller-Martini machines with attractive flat rates that are used in most of the market organizations. With this standard inspection report that we use when we send that out to our customers. The second aspect where we use also the inspection tool for is the preventive maintenance agreement. Again, here is the main focus is on the maintenance of the machine. So we're talking about replacing consumables. We're looking at wear and tear parts. We're looking at greasing of certain aspects. Again, it's about minimizing disturbance to your production schedule or to the customer's production schedule if we come in and help you with the maintenance of that machine. Usually this is in combination that the customer decides to do certain aspects himself, whereas for other aspects, he uses Muller-Martini to help him with certain aspects of maintenance. So there is a preventive maintenance report that the customer gets after the event that shows him what we have done with regards to the preventive maintenance visits. So what is happening as far as innovation is concerned with regards to inspections and preventive maintenance? So one of the aspects is that we are, we call it the phrase in design service, but what we are actually have started to do is linking our recommended parts and consumable lists to the inspection tasks and preventive maintenance tasks. So what I mean is, if we go through a set of checkpoints, we want to make sure, definitely for the inspections, that we are also looking at the spare parts, the recommended spare parts that are highlighted for that machine. So in essence, when an engineer goes to a part, he sees down here whether this checkpoint has parts included that are also on the recommended spare parts list. So the task is to make sure that we're checking these parts that we have in the recommended spare parts package, and if we use them to carry out repairs, then to replenish the stock at the customer side to make sure that he keeps a stock of emergency spare parts that helps him to reduce downtime on his machine. The same thing is with the preventative maintenance checklists. Here, the focus is not so much on the spare parts, but on the recommended consumables list. So we are focusing on the parts that we have in a consumables spare parts package, which is belts, which is it could be some sensors, for example, as well. Anything that basically has wear and tear by running the products is on the consumables spare parts list. And our maintenance checklist should also focus on these parts. So as part of the maintenance visit, we want to utilize the parts that are in the consumables package and also make sure when we leave, the customer has all the information to replenish the stock that he actually has on site again. Again, for me, one of the aspects that we also would like to promote more in future is that we are recommending to the customer to have the recommended spare parts and consumables package on site, because these are the parts for that machine that allow him to improve the reliability and the performance of his machine, because he has all the essential parts on site when he needs to run the machine. So they are for Primera, Prinova, Antaro, and B320, there are now consumable packages available. And we definitely want to show you these packages when we at Drupa, to make sure you understand what they are, when they're used, and how they can be incorporated into new machine sales. Startup checklist is in order to improve our installation processes. We have also used the inspection tool to come up with dedicated startup checklists. These checklists incorporate points that need to be checked before the machine is handed over to the customer. As a result, you get a startup protocol, we call it, for the customer, where he sees all the checkpoints that have been checked, whether they're green. And the plan is also that this startup checklist is then be handed over to the customer for his record. So report templates. We have revamped a bit the report templates for the various reports. As I said, you have 3 templates available today in the inspection tool. One is the inspection report, one is the preventive maintenance report, and one is the startup report. Each of them have very similar designs. However, obviously the header is slightly different. It now has space to incorporate pictures of the machine, customer logo. All this is very simple, can be done inside the inspection tool and then be passed, and then the report can be generated. What we already have is it's a data transfer to the eShop. So if you include spare parts into the inspection tool to each of the checkpoints, this can, on one hand, the spare parts can be displayed in the reports, but also a CSV file can be created with a format that can be imported into the eShop. Again, for me, a big advantage, so you don't have to do that job twice. Anything that you recommend to the customer, if he wants to buy it or purchase it, you can then easily import it into the eShop via CSV file. And the other thing is, in order to improve accessibility for these reports, we are, for Drupa, incorporating a new feature. In future, we incorporate the inspection reports into Empower as well. You see that very small down here. In the documentation section, there will be an extra header, which is called reports. So when an inspection report for that customer, for that machine here is created, it will be downloaded to a certain area and then automatically shown in Empower, not just for the customer, but also for Muller Martini accessible. So what we're going to show at Drupa with regards to MMInspect, again, we're going to have a monitor there. We're going to show the inspection tool. On the laptop, we can show customers the various aspects of Inspect, the preventive maintenance, and the startup. We can show Empower. We can show where the reports are, how this is obviously stored. And we're going to have definitely at least one part or consumables kit or parts of that kit on the stand, just to show customers what we're actually talking about when we talk about the recommended parts or consumables kit. Again, you're going to get a cheat sheet, which incorporates the most important aspects of that. And there will be a Drupa walk. Let me just quickly go through that. Again, this is a text that basically illustrates the main aspects that we want to convey to the customers when it comes to the product MMInspect. So you get a good idea of the topics that you want to highlight or mention when you have a customer on the stand and talk about Inspect. MMInspect is our professional approach to analyzing your machine or line. Like the big press manufacturers, we complete hundreds of inspections per year through our global service network. Our experience shows that preventive maintenance pays off. So having a structured inspection program is the foundation to run your equipment with confidence. Knowing the condition of the line is critical. We have different types of inspections, from our checkup service completed before the end of the warranty to our standard deep and detailed inspections. We also carry out inspections before customers want to relocate machines to make sure they know the condition of the equipment purchased before the machine is shipped to a new location. In order to keep downtime on the machine to a minimum, we are also applying technology wherever possible when carrying out inspections or preventive maintenance visits. So we have invested heavily in our tools and processes using a special software application that has customized checklists, factory records, machine upgrades information, and other data that is only available to Muller Martini. We now also link our checklists to our recommended spare parts packages in order to continuously review them and to improve traceability of wear and tear of your machine over the years. The MMInspect inspection package are great value. It's an inexpensive tool for getting a full assessment of where the machine or line stands. So this is, in a nutshell, topics and the content that we want to talk about when a customer is brought into that area onto the MMInspect display stand. Wrap up. So there's further training sessions planned. Obviously, you've just been taking part in the support and inspection today. There's another session in the afternoon. There will be one in German on Friday. Then we have further training sessions on the remaining topics of Select and Up to Date, which is in 2 weeks' time. The whole training session should be completed by the end of March. So again, plenty of time to make sure that we give you an idea on all the various subjects, what the main aspects are, what the new points are we want to highlight. Again, at Drupa, we're going to have representation from the factories there. Again, like last Drupa, it's not just a chance for us to show all the new aspects of the various service labels, but it's also really a good aspect or a huge opportunity to talk to you guys, to make sure you understand what these products are, what the processes are, and also get some feedback from the markets. Are we going in the right direction? Are there any aspects that we need to look at again, that we need to be focusing in future, because it's important to get that kind of feedback, not just from the customers, but also from you, that obviously out there in the markets on a day-to-day basis. Again, we're providing the cheat sheets and the Drupa walk that will be provided, and we will have, as I said, we have the support on site for the first couple of days. We talked about already the layout of the stand. So this is the meeting point. We then have, obviously, that's basically how the Drupa walk normally works. Obviously, customers are meted and greeted in the meeting point. Then you move over to the machines, and then you bring them over to service and you talk about the service aspects. And at the end, you then have the welcome area, the network zone, and possibly some meeting rooms that you could use when it comes to going into more detail in the conversations. Again, from focal points we have in service, definitely as far as sales is concerned, for parts with maintenance agreements, relocations and inspections. For the remote service, we clearly want to make sure our customers understand the benefits of having helpline and remote line agreements, including all the features that it offers if you have that kind of product with Muller Martini, such as the eCall. Again, the overarching application that is now connected to each of the applications we show at Drupa is Empower. Empower really has become, over the last years, the overarching application that brings all together as far as information is concerned in all the various aspects of the customer's Muller Martini equipment and his processes. So this is clearly an aspect we want to show every single time we show anything. Please make sure you access Empower, you have that on your smartphone, so you can show that to the customer, because this is, for me, an asset we have. Not many other manufacturer can offer that kind of customer cockpit with the information that it actually offers to the customer. Training is always really a big aspect. I think a lot of customers underestimate how much the staff and the training level of the staff contributes to the success of running this equipment nowadays, with the complexity that some of the machines have. And then obviously the upgrades and retrofits that we can offer is definitely also an important aspect. We talked about obsolescence risks, how we can mitigate that, our life cycle management system that we have, that really goes into that aspect in a lot of detail, and with a very easy to explain concept, how we want to make sure that customers managing their risk for their operation under the circumstances that you have continuously obsolescence risk that you hit with. So the last aspect we have, that was the life cycle management. So any questions? We talked about support, we talked about inspect. Again, we talked about the way we want to display that at Drupa. So anything else from your side that you need to have clarified? Okay. So next, what is going to happen next? You're going to get an email with the, as I said, with the recording of that presentation and with the links to the presentations. So you have, after that, you should have everything you need if you need to pass that on, or if you want to study certain aspects of that presentation again. That's the, will be sent out in the next probably couple of days. Yeah. Okay, now anything else? Okay, then let me say thank you for your attention. I know taking an hour and a half or 2 hours out of a busy day is a challenge at the best of times. So thanks very much for taking the time. As I said, we will have an opportunity to talk about this at the start of the exhibition again. If you have any questions in between, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Then we can look at these aspects. Otherwise, let me say thanks again and have a nice start into this week. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks very much.